evening, and welcome to My name is Tunde. I'm glad to have you guys tonight. I'm excited that we all came in to be a part of this. I'm sure you doing the right way. So just you know, stay tuned, relax, and participate. It's gonna be an amazing time. Sure. So welcome. Let's start this. I'm gonna start. Hello, good evening. Good evening. Omobola Akinje. Good evening. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Good evening. Loud and clear.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to Writing Company College Applications webinar. Good to have you here. Please let me know if at any time you can't hear me so I can do something about that.
Okay.
Okay. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to Writing Company College Applications webinar. This is not just for those that just want to enter into college. It's for those that also are thinking of doing a master's, PhD, or whatever program it is that you're planning on taking. The beautiful thing about these things is that they always ask you to sell yourself. They always ask you to share more information about who you are, share more light about who you are. That's their admissions committee, and you are required to share in great detail what sufficient amount of information that will be able to sell you to any college committee or any college body. So welcome to today. I'll just taking us through a couple of amazing points to let us know how we can sell and package ourselves in a way that is appealing to a college body at any time. The beautiful thing about telling yourself is you're telling a story of who you are. I believe everything is story format. You're telling a story of who you are, and you're no different from other people that are going to share their experiences. What will make you different from somebody else is how you're able to package yourself, package the information that you have, and sell to other people. The truth is, a lot of people have great accolades. I'll use the word accolades. They have great accolades. They have great repertoire. They have a lot of ammunition, so to say, that they could use to get what they want. But because they don't really know how to, that's just what makes it more difficult for them to sell themselves to anybody or any college body or any in this case anyway, any college body. So what we're doing this time basically, I'll be sharing with you one how to sell yourself. At the end of this course, you're going to learn how to sell yourself to any college or university, internationally especially. Two, you're going to be learning 5 important steps to writing compelling applications, and lastly, you're going to be learning important keywords you need to know to write your compelling college applications. Now, a college application normally start with you filling out a bunch of forms. They want to know your background, your what country you're from, what you do, and how far you've come along the ranks basically. So if you're going to university, for example, and you're going for a first degree, they want to know that you've actually completed to some extent secondary school education. If it's an international school, they want to know that you've done some level of language test or something, or knowledge test that will help them know that they can communicate with you properly. Some schools, they may take some people at a lower level of language understanding, but once they come in, they put them into a program that allows them to step up their language, to be able to understand what it is that they're communicating or teaching. The school may not be necessarily English speaking, can be in Rome, Italy, different countries around the world. All these other countries, a bunch of all these countries actually, they embrace international students, and they do not mind at any point in time them coming into their purpose to learn from them. So they are very willing and very open to actually accept them and teach them their language, because they're indoctrinating them. And by teaching them their language, they're making them part of their system, and they're training them in the course of the time. So schools like that don't necessarily look out for how well you can speak Russian or German. They just want to know that you have the IQ, or you can sell yourself well enough to be able to get their attention. Now, one thing I'm going to start with telling yourself is that every school you're going to sell yourself to internationally need you more than you actually know. Need you more than you even need them. Why? Because one thing that all these schools pride themselves in really is saying that they have a large pool of international students that prefer them. So because they are there year in, year out, they need to get people to come into their schools to learn from them. They need to get international students from different places. They need to continue to show their relevance. That even though we are growing old, even though we are an old institution, we have managed to build some sort of credibility and makes us the preferred institution by international in the international community. So they actually do need you more than you think that they need you. So I'll give an example. One person said to me one time, I remember when I was doing a course in the US, he said to me, you must feel pretty I can't remember what he used, well, that like I'm at a disadvantage because I'm a black girl, I'm from Africa, and yeah, because I'm black and I'm from Africa, and I'm a female. So basically, what I was trying to tell me was I was at lower of the food chain, if I could use that word. And I didn't see it that way. I didn't think of it that way. One thing that the international school always, the one thing they always do pride themselves in is having a vast and wide pool of people from different countries, from I keep saying Romania, from Iraq, from Africa, from Nigeria, from Ghana. They pride themselves in these things. They count, in fact, one of the things they do is they put flags of different countries and schools, different countries represented in their school, in their campus, to be able to show to people that we have a large pool of international students and we welcome the international community. And secondly, the reason why they need you is because the money you pay as an international student is way more than what the locals pay. You pay more for being an international student than those that live in the country and those that live especially in the States would pay. So they actually do need your money. They need you to come in, they need you to come and learn. So they need your money. So never ever feel it's a disadvantage. Always go with the mindset and understanding that you are the ones that need me. So I'm going to pick the best bet for me, and then throw your and the things you're going to be learning today, throw throw your eggs or throw your bread upon many waters, and whichever one comes back to you that you like, you can pick whichever one from that. So that's the first thing I wanted to share basically on selling yourself. So don't sell yourself short. Don't think that they need you more than that you need them more than they need you. They need you. They need you because they want to show the world, they want to prove to other schools that they are the preferred schools, they want to prove to other communities, they want to prove their alumni that they are relevant, they want to prove all these things. And that's why you see a lot of the alumni actually do give scholarship funds or give money to these schools to help them to keep boosting what they are doing. They have financial aid because they're trying to attract different kinds of people to their institution and to retain relevance. When they do the ranking of top schools in the world, they want to be among those schools. So you bringing the best part of you to these schools would actually be a plus for them. So you are always a plus. You are never a disadvantage to them. So always come from that perspective whenever it is you start filling your application. So writing your statement of purpose. So most schools will ask you to write a statement of purpose because they really want to know if this is the best place for you, if you're actually considering the fact that there is value to be gotten here, and even afterwards there's a way I can apply this value to the world. So they want to know what exactly you're about. They want to know what, and one of the best ways to tell what somebody or where somebody is going is to look at where they are coming from. So that's the essence of a statement of purpose. A statement of purpose helps you to identify, to be able to show for to the school what you've done, who you are, and where it is that you are going. They want to see that they align with these three things, and so telling yourself to them has to be represented in these three things: where you're coming from, who you are presently, and where it is that you are going. They want to see that there is a confluence between you, your goals, and what it is that they are trying to achieve as an institution. So one thing, my first advice, my first key, basically in writing your college, compelling college applications, first thing you want to do is have a list, and this is not even just for the writing compelling college applications. Have a list of different activities that you do, of different programs you attend, of different places you volunteer, of different work experiences you do, of different programs that you're involved in. Have a list of all these things. Put them down at every interval. Curate them on one full list. Have all those things down. Even if you do something as little as, okay, I was the one babysitting my sister's kids this weekend. Put it down. Now, I was watching a video last week on Sunday, which was very, very funny. It was a Nigerian artist, and he was cooking, and he said he was cooking what did he call it? Cassava grains, molded cassava grains, and something. I've forgotten what the other part of the meal was. Now, when I had molded cassava grains, I laughed because when you think of it literally, what it means is it was making eba. In Nigeria, that's what we call a meal, a local meal we call eba. But when he said molded cassava grains, it was redefining what it was. So if we're going to sell it in a restaurant and he puts it as molded cassava grains, people actually think, oh, this is very classy, but it's a lot different from what we call eba. And which is the difference between people that actually do get this and their college applications, make their college applications very compelling. It's because they know how to take one single thing and shout about it. They know how to take one win and scream about it. There's a scripture that comes to mind when the Bible says that let your light so shine before all men that they may know your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Many people can do one little thing and then don't shout about it or don't know how to praise themselves for doing this thing. If you do anything really small, it's also part of your experience. It's also part of building you. It's what has gone into you to make you who you are today. So don't waste it. Don't waste that information. Don't waste that knowledge. Don't waste don't waste that experience. So have it in your list of activities or list of things that you've done, your I just call them your list. And then at every point in time, you can keep updating this list. Update this list when you do something for somebody, update this list when you volunteer somewhere, update this list when you have a new job. Just keep updating your list. And why do you do this? Because when you now want to write your college application, so for now, what you want to write a list of different activities as much as possible, you've done from beginning of time. So sit down and write all these things. Now I'll tell you what you're going to do with this list in 2 points down. Once you have this list, the next thing you want to do is research different schools that you want to go to. So pick, if you're using an agent, for example, your agent will probably have a list of schools that you can use, that you can go to, you can attend, for now. If you are not and you have to find on your own, then you have a lot of work to do. You can ask from other people that are there. You can go on the school website and search for their international office and send a message to them to ask questions. Or you can go on LinkedIn or on Instagram and find students that go to the school presently, to ask them information, especially international students. And if you can find anyone from your country to that will also be preferable for you. Send them a message, ask them questions. I'm like to come to the school. I'm interested to know what the activities are. I'm interested to know if they have tuition and what their tuition is like, how it's paid. I'm interested to know if there's scholarship opportunities. So go online and research the school. I'm interested to know what they actually invest in, what are they interested in, what causes do they support, what causes do they close down the school for, what is a big drive for them, where does most of their funding for scholarship come. So you would know a school that supports something by maybe, for example, if you support the military more, they will have a lot of funding get towards the military. So you can find out information about the school, what they've been doing over time, how they've built how they themselves for social causes and social events. You want to find the school soft spots. That's what you're trying to do. And then find out their track record of international students. Find out how well these international students have done after school. Find out the ones that are presently in school, if whatever new information you can get from them. Now, what you're going to do with this information is you're not going to find the similarities, which is the third point, between your list and the research you've done about the school. So you can go through, for example, if you know that the school supports ADH, attention disorder of children, and you've catered for children within that kind of setting before. Maybe you just visited a home that helps the children, or donated to the home that help the children. You can list all those kinds of points. You just bring them out and list all those kinds of points as, okay, this is what I've done. This is that you found your similarity between, okay, what you've done before and what the school supports. So you can list that and put that aside from your list of different things, and then find other points that you can use that tie the interest of the school with your interests as well. Once you've done this, the third point, then you can look, once you've applied to the school and essentially list of things to do, go on our website, fill the form, and send a statement of purpose to us. Then sit down and start and ask yourself basically what it is you want to achieve, going into the school. What is the real selling point for you? Why do you want to attend? And because if you've done your research about the school, you found out one or two things that actually tickle your fancy about the school. So ask yourself which of these things that I've learned actually is a major is a major plus to me or to my career or wherever it is that I'm going, that this learning will actually augment. And then list all those things out. They're all the points that you're going to be using to write your statement of purpose. So once you found out, okay, these are the things I like about the school, this is where I can be plugged in, look at the environment, the weather, the safety, all those things, then you can then begin writing your college application, which is the fourth thing. So in writing your college application, one of the things that I'll tell you to do is almost like telling a story and introducing yourself to somebody. They don't know you, they don't know anything about you. They're just meeting you for the first time, but you always want to you always want to be remembered. You want to come from a point where when they read your application, they know that we have to take a second look, or I have to give a second opinion, or I have to put this one on top. So you always have to come ready when you are writing your application. So first thing you want to consider basically is to introduce yourself and introduce who you are coming into the course and your interest in being a part of the course. So you can say something like, my name is Ibu, and I came across your school, let me use the word. I came across University of Westchester after having gone through a couple of schools and trying to find the best fit for me. I believe that University of Westchester will be the best fit for me because for example, I followed the work of maybe one of their faculty members, and I found out that he's also one of the lead faculty members in the school. Then I can now start going and start talking about myself. Over time, then go down. So the first thing I did was establish a connection that made them know that I know about you, I know what you good work you're doing, and I recognize it. So the next thing you're then doing is actually informing them about who you are. So now we're going to the class. Remember earlier I mentioned that the school wants to know if your history, who you are, and if your future does merge with their goals. So you're going to go to the past and now mention points about who you are. Remember about your list, how I said you write the different things on your list, and then you put those things that are common to you and the school together in one point. So you start bringing things out of your list and putting it in your other two paragraphs. So you talk about what you've done before, where you schooled before, how you've taken part in certain pro bono work, which ties with what the school supports and all, and also it's in line with your course, and talk about how that has inspired you over the course of time. Probably start something or pushed you toward furthering your information because you have a goal that you're trying to reach. So now you're not going to your future because you have a goal of actually setting up maybe the biggest NGO that takes care of children with ADHD syndrome, or finding a solution to them, and you're looking for how to support research institution. And then you can also talk about how you found maybe a paper that they're now going back to the interest part, which you're ending with. So you're talking about how you probably found a paper that one of their students did or one of their professors did, and some of the points that you listed there shows that learning at this institution actually augments the fact that you are working towards finding research solutions that will deal with this ADHD issue, and being at the school will be an advantage in that regard. So tie it up together, and once you're done, leave what you've done simmer. You don't have to visit it again. You don't have to look at it for the next 2 days. The reason why I say 2 days is because many times when you're writing, you think that you've written something or you think that you've made some good points. The first things you write normally, they're just your what we call vomit drafts. So just leave it for 2 days, leave it simmer, and then go back and review your application. Now you're going back to review your application to see if you've actually expressed who you were, who you are, and where you're going to, and see if you putting these things nicely together will be able to communicate to the school that has not known you in any way. Be able to communicate to them that you're a serious candidate and the most preferred if they ever considered if they're considering maybe what ratio of international students to pick, and you have more people, you're the best choice basically for them to pick. So those are the steps that you want to take in basically handling this situation. Now, when you're done, ensure that you also input some really keywords and some really important keywords into your application. The keywords you use will be dependent on the course that you are studying. So you want to show that you have some level of knowledge about this course. So you should know what kinds of terms you can use in your course of study that will get people to take a second look and this person has some level of background, so it's not if they're trying to build a house without a foundation. So find some keywords in your course of study that you know that once you impute into your statement of purpose, it makes you look like, okay, she knows what she's doing. She's not a novice, but she also needs more information. And we are the ones to be able to take her by the hand and lead her into this new information. So those are some of the very important salient points that you want to consider when writing your college application, your compelling college application. It's very important that once you're done with this, that you have somebody review it for you, look through it for you, and determine if what you've written is correct, accurate, if you need to infuse more points into it, if you need to look into write it in a proper in another way, maybe have a third eye, look at it for you, and a fourth eye and a fifth eye, and get the best advice from all these other reviewers and impute into your writing. Now, remember, college applications usually come with some terms and conditions. For example, don't pass 150 words, don't pass 1,000 words. Use rich text or whatever format they ask you to do. Please, it is important that you read instructions. Many times people just go ahead to do whatever they need to do. The instructions are always as important as you doing whatever you need to do. And why is this? Because there are a lot of applications that they're going to have to read through, and you don't want a situation whereby it's just one thing that you've not fulfilled in the questionnaire or in the application that then disqualifies you from actually getting in when you actually you have the best resume that they can actually think of using. So read through the instructions line by line. Once you are done with your review and you've taken the points from other people, put it together in your application, read it through, leave it to simmer again, and then read again. So once you're done with that again, you can ask somebody else to review for you once more. And once everything is fine and all the I's have been crossed and all the T's have been crossed, make sure you go back to the question that you were answering in the first place and see if you've answered every question that they put forward to you. See if you've also put it within the restrictions that if they say put it on a Word document or a rich text document, see you fulfilled every condition that comes with that application. Tick it off one by one, read through it one by one, and until you've ticked off every condition, then you know that you are right and you're on the right channel. So I always advise, the reason why I say always leave this for one day is because something else may come to your mind, a skill that you forgot to add or something. So don't just rush to apply to submit. Just leave it to simmer for one module or two, and if nothing else comes to mind, you can read it finally and then go ahead and submit your application. The period of leaving your application is actually really important because it actually helps you to remember things that you forgot, things that you need to add, things that you need to consider. All those things, they're extremely important. You can also, when you're doing your research, and speaking with people that are already alumni or people that in the school presently, you can also ask them for whatever advice that they will have whatever advice they will have with you submitting and how to submit, and also consider if it will be important to put those things in your application as well. So once you're done with your statement of purpose, you can go ahead and fill all the other parts of your form and make sure that you don't write something in your statement of purpose that contradicts other parts of your form. So for example, or that makes it look as if it's untrue. Sometimes it may not be that it's untrue, but it's just half information. So for example, if you are saying something like, oh, I worked in XYZ company for a period of time, and then in the form application, you actually feel that it was DXZ company. However, DXZ company is a subsidiary of XYZ company. It may seem as if you're contradicting yourself. So don't try to confuse the body. Just make sure that what is exactly the information you provide is concurrent across board. Don't, because it's you that knows that, okay, DYC and ABC are the same companies, but they don't know that. So don't try to confuse them. So make sure all the information that you put in the different parts of your application they're accurate and they sync together. So anybody that reads it can easily trace, okay, this is when she worked in XYZ, this is when she worked in DYT, and it's easy for them to understand. One other thing that I wanted to also mention with respect to writing your applications is, when you're writing your list, consider the fact that wherever you've worked and whatever you've done, you've contributed in one way, form, or the other, and that the result of that contribution may have been numbers increases or percentages that went up. So consider also selling yourself properly by presenting these percentages. So you can present the before and the after. So for example, I spearheaded a drive to feed the homeless people within a certain locality in our town, and afterwards we found out that 70% of the people that we fed actually afterwards, especially those that were ill, they experienced better health afterwards because of the kinds of meals that we gave them. And they mention the numbers, talk about what the before was and what the after was, and how your direct contribution to that was the result of that. Normally when you use numbers, it's easy for people to be able to assess it, because you're not guessing. It is very easy for you to assess, okay, they went up from 20% to 70%. So it's easy for them to be able to assess that, okay, this is someone that has a lot of value to add, and being a part of us will also help and augment that as well. So also consider the accolades that you received from the superiors, from the boss, or anybody, and mention it and talk about how, after the drive, I received considerable commendation, which led to, and talk about it, which led to, talk about it, but don't waste your experiences, because every experience you go through, every experience you help, that you give yourself to, or you help somebody with, are points that will come in handy, may not be for that application, but maybe for another application. So it will come in handy another time. So always list these things out and then pick those points for time concerning whichever course it is that you're trying to apply for. These tips that I'm giving you also go for if you're doing your PhD presentation. Think about the fact that if you're doing your PhD, that you need to write a paper, a dissertation, or something. So talk about papers that you've read before. Talk about papers that have inspired you. Papers, what you've deducted from all these papers, and what you hope to achieve during the time of your doctorate in that program. So all these tips will help to present yourself and sell yourself properly to your potential clients, or to your potential school rather that you're trying to attend. So I'm going to see if there are any questions. Sorry, I went. Oh, are there any questions? I can take questions now. Any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the schools that I'm applying to, when I spoke with my admission counselor, they made mention of the fact that if I didn't get up to a certain grade in school, as in maybe their cut-off mark or something, that I needed to mention it in my personal statement and mention the why I didn't get up to that certain grade, so that they give me consideration that, I can do, better in whatever course I'm applying for and all of that. So I've been thinking, how do I incorporate that into my personal statement? Because I can't just say, I didn't do well because there was no light in my house, or I live in Nigeria or something. So I've just been thinking, how do you actually incorporate something as specific as that into your personal statement?
Okay, I think one of the things you want to show them is that. So yes, the fact is, when I was in school, was at the point in time, not even excuses. You just want to show, yes, this was what happened, and I own I take responsibility for that. But even though this happened, this is what I have done afterward to improve myself. So now I believe that I am better ready to be able to take on this task, to take on this opportunity, and even do more with it. So you have to show your track record of growth. That, okay, this happened, yes, but this is my track record of growth that I've done on my own without an institution, and see how, okay, and I know that now, because of how far I've come, what I've done, and list them out, then I'm better prepared to actually take on this opportunity. And this is why I will admonish that you take me on, because I'm ready for this. So let them see that. Let them see that growth. Like there was a lot of personal growth that you put into it, personal trainings, personal growth, volunteering opportunities, even jobs that you may have done. If you can show the results of these things that you did and how they benefited other people, and talk about the testimonial that you got from people, those things will actually help you significantly to be able to show the school that, okay, she didn't do that well, but it seems like she's on track and she's ready. She deserves another chance. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does. I just have to really sit down to see how I can coin it down to make it the best. But thank you. Then another question. So I'm trying to, so a school says that they expect so and so from you, and they list all the things. Do I have to necessarily write my personal statement in the order in which the school asks for all the things, or I can just tell the story my own way and all of that, but make sure that all the elements are not missing? That's one question. And the second question is, how do you, as in, because sometimes they give you limited words to write with, and then there's so much to write. How do you now compress all of that and still make sure that you don't leave the important elements missing?
Okay, so the first question is, do you follow the format the school gave you? It's extremely important. I mentioned about you read the rules that they gave to you, and make sure even at the end of what you've done that you follow those rules, because they would mark you by their script and their scheme. So it's extremely important to do as they have told you to. Don't try to innovate, replicate. It's like the wheel. We don't reinvent the wheel. They're giving you the expo, so to say. That's what we say in Nigeria. They've given you answer. They've given you the format which you mark your script. So just follow that and do it to the best, in the best way possible. So in cases where your words are limited, basically there are a number of things they're trying to also check: your intelligence level, how you're able to sell yourself. And one thing you want to do is start with the sentence structure, beginning, middles, and ends. And so if you have limited words for certain different points, first pick your key points. Make sure you start with your key points, not the points that don't sell you well enough. So make sure those ones are in there. So start with beginning, middle, and end. So introduce what the beginning of the idea. Put in the middle, you can infuse, and because of this, I was able to do this, that, like 3 or 4 points in the middle. Then in the fourth, and then in closing that idea, then emphasize the results of what it is that they are trying to find out from you. So emphasize the results in terms of numbers, or what was achieved in terms of that. So you don't need to expatiate. You just need to go straight to the point and talk about those things. So you can pack a number of things together by going straight to the point. It's like saying, I want to eat Kellogg's, but it's Kellogg's, Frosties, Kellogg's. I don't have to explain everything. I just can say, I don't have to explain that there are different kinds of Kellogg's or different kinds of maize meals. I just call them conflicts. You don't have to start breaking them down. Just take the general idea and express that general idea to them. But use sentence structures that give you a beginning, a middle, and an end, so you can curate all that information, all those points within that space. Is that clear?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. And then my final question is, so if I'm applying to more than one school, do I just try to find a personal statement that goes for all of the schools, or I have to start writing each personal statement for each of the schools separately?
You have to write separately. You have to write separately, because everybody has a different way that they mark. I mean, it's still you, but and that's why if you have all those things listed out, so your list, you've done your research, you're just taking from those things to write the personal statement. But you can't use the same thing for one for another, because if they mark separately, especially if they're giving 2 different formats to use, and then you use format for another school, they will not consider you, because they won't think that you take them, that you're paying attention to the details. Your first impression won't be compelling. So you have to.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, for writing your compelling college application to the lovely time. If you have any questions, don't send them to ikunluwatumbi@gmail.com, and I will answer your question. Thank you again, everybody, and good night. Thank you.
Thank you.